500,000 kids in the country are in foster care. Within our own state, 11 to 12,000. Is there a role of the federal government to try to do something about these 120, 130,000 kids aging out every year, who most of them land in jail or become drug addicts or end up living in the woods in Lowell, which I can guarantee all of those people were. Mm-hmm. Anything we can do to try to change the system?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just going to go back to my experience when I was mayor. We had, let me talk about public schools. They have a tremendous challenge these days. It's beyond education. There are social issues. There are a whole lot of issues that really fall on the shoulders of the education in schools. Well, we had a program called Community Schools, which we had certain schools opened after school till 9 and 10 at night with great, supervision and activity and homework. And the truth is, for some of these kids, that was their only place to be.
It was.
They looked forward to that. You had to kick them out, at 9:30 and say, go home. All right. That's one example. That program's gone. Pre-K. I think a lot of the issues in terms of families and the breakdown of families and foster care and kids having kids and kids not being able to care for kids traces back to programs that I think the federal government can, whether it's Head Start and Pre-K and making sure that there is in place adequate supervision, whether it's those types of good programs. You talk to the Boys and Girls Club, and they are struggling tremendously for funding and the like. That's a good investment to invest in kids. There are a whole number of things but you have to start at the source. You have to start early. You have to provide that kind of education, that guidance, those kind of mentoring opportunities. And without those programs, we do have throwaway kids.
So you do see it as a federal role?
I do think it's a federal role. I do think it's a federal role. I don't think the federal government's response by let's have no child left behind is at all reaching the issue or the problem.
It is.
It's again a window dressing, or sounds good, but it really is not addressing the problem and what people are facing in terms of challenges today. I was speaking to someone last night about who works in a food pantry in Lowell. Just the past 6 months, the increase not only in terms of demand, but kids coming through the food pantry on a nightly basis, families, young kids, and that's really gone way up. Some of these people actually, are single parents. They may be working. They can't afford to feed their families anymore.
So we actually go to the point of after World War II where we had the CCP camps and the creating jobs for people, actually just before, where the federal government actually created large work programs?
Yeah, I think those
jobs
are
is part of the issue?
Sure, I think jobs. I think the ability to afford living, whether it's the cost of rent and living in this area. Let's just take right around here, paying for health care if that's a situation. I think the middle class and the working class are being squeezed from all sides, and whenever you have those types of stresses and pressures, you will see, breakdown in terms of family. You'll see breakdown in terms of that kind of continuity. And those are areas that there's not a safety net for a lot of folks. They're one paycheck away from, being homeless, or they're one paycheck away from, being in the
losing
soup
your homes.
kitchen.
Look at all the foreclosures.
Sure.
And the,
so
foreclosures
all of those
class.
types of stresses, I think, contribute to kids who, either go the wrong path or end up in foster care. And it's not an easy issue, but I think it is something that the federal government should be looking at. And again, it goes beyond, it's the right thing to do, it's the humane thing to do, but it's also an investment when you take care of families and kids.